We'll see what happens. Okay, looks like we're kind of getting up there. All right, brilliant. So, in my continuing effort to spread the word of Legends of Kralis and the faith of the legends, um, we have a very awesome special guest. We have Miss Mootley, who is better known as the gay aunt of TikTok, which makes her that much more of a chef's kiss with this. So, thank you so much for reaching out and saying, "Hey, teach," and I'm like, I am going to teach you. So before we right, so that is exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna make you a rodent badass. I do have a question. Do you have the character sheet up? And do you have the attribute determination? I'm going to help you figure that out. It just makes things a little easier when you're rolling up, right? Now I know that you were really into uh, right, the little mouse, right? The Balian Jakara for you. Jakara, right on. Well, you out of print GM, and their friend Will, which is freelancer Blitz. They are literally the Tom and Jerry of Legends of Kralis. They have a large Sabotori Jakara, which is basically a saber tooth cat. They have the Manix, and then they have a Canis. And literally, my nephew, who's in the Navy, says, "So you've got Tom and Jerry, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess I do." And with the time differences between, we play every other Thursday for 2 hours, between 8 and 10 p.m. their times because of the schedules. And I'm so humbled to have them join the game. And they learned a very valuable lesson. This last game is, if there is a entity that is a translucent gray white, don't shoot at it. Yeah, they have learned that it is a banshee and it's attached itself to the Manix. Yeah, so that's where we left him off in a dramatic moment of a cliffhanger, and he's not doing good. He's not doing good at all. So, um, you had expressed interest in making like a partner for your Jakara, Adele, right? Adele. All right, and you were thinking about doing the either the Balian or the Manix, correct? Okay. Exhausted, just always trying to keep up with you. Brilliant. We love you anyway. All right, so with that in mind, what Legends of Kratos, when you create a character, we don't have classes. So we ask you to develop an archetype in your brain of what you want to do. And as you develop your character and you mold your character out of this clay, you actually start to decide, well, I'm gonna be this. Oh, that makes even more sense. And those kind of things. So what kind of character do you see this sidekick? We'll call it sidekick because we haven't decided which one we're gonna do here. What's what's the archetype? Right. Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant. I love that. That's awesome. With that in mind and with what you said, I would suggest going Mannix. because the Balian are a little, their personalities don't quite fit what you want to do. And the Manics, they're also a joyful one, but the Balian are more of a internal spiritualist kind of concept, where they have actually gone through five. This is their fifth reincarnation of their entire species. So they've gone through these different iterations, and they finally have come to the world of Kralis. And their story is in there, and it's kind of a tragic backstory. But they've finally have arrived on Kralis. The Manics have always been a species that has always been a part of the world of Kralis, but is not directly. Um, they, they meld into the background, right? They're kind of like the shadows. They're kind of like this. They have a culture, but they don't have their own exact culture. They kind of build their culture off of living with with humans, and they're in almost every right. They're in everybody else's business, literally. I mean, the Bahul, which are very militaristic, they've got colonies of Manics there, and those kind of things. So, yeah, they're just in everybody's business. That and the Elwyn. They are. And one of the cool things about the Manics is they have a natural ear for language. So anytime that they hear a new language that they don't know, as a character, mechanically, you get to attempt an intelligence check to see if you've actually picked up the words to be able to speak that language. Right. Brilliant. So well, let's go ahead and get you started. So since you got the archetype, go ahead and pull up the PDF for Legends of Kralis. And if you do, you want me to take you through the book, or do you just want to do the character? What would you like? How do you? What is your time limit for this tonight? Because I can drag this on for hours. You know, I'll talk to you until we both pass out here. To, like, so what time is it? Where? So you're in Australia. What time is it there now? Hello, operator. Yeah, I can't wait to see that stream tomorrow. That's going to be brilliant. This sounds like a great idea. I'll join you at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh no. All right. So the Legends of Kratos, the book itself is 384 pages, and that seems like a lot, but it also includes 302 abilities that are not associated with anything other than your focuses, and a whole ton of spells and different types of magics. So we have three types of magics that do those kind of things. And the thing that really people need to focus on really is your character generation. It's very important to who you are. And what I always say is, you know, pick a species, pick a focus, pick your skills, your ability, and go. Right? And that is one of those things that I really think that happens. So when you open up the book for the first time, let me go and pull this all the way out. You're going to come through these different chapters, right? We've got this thing is read this before going on. So this gives you an overview of the book, basically telling you where you're going to find what and how so. Then we've got mostly advice for new players. Yeah, just some advice from 30, 45 years of playing this game. Do you know I level up this month? I level up. I've gained enough experience to go to level 51. Next year. Like January? March. Brilliant. Brilliant. And then we go into these introductions, like, what is Legends of Kralis? We tell you about the rules and how to actually roll up dice and how we actually do the counting and stuff like that. We put our glossary in the front of the book instead of the back of the book because we're kind of introducing some new concepts. And it might be better for people to be able to know what we're talking about when we do that. And then I give a little bit of World of Kralis. This is coming from Ashe Blackstone. And then we have stories. And this is the cool part about this. There is a semi-vignette story that begins with the escape. And it tells the tale of these three heroes that are trying to now escape this literal island of the undead. And we find out the end of the story at the beginning of the book. And throughout the book are all these different little short vignettes that talk about how they get there. So it gives some sort of back culture. So the thing that we're going to start on is your character generation. So that generally starts on page 15. And what we've done here is we've created this creation summary that has references to the character sheet that is on page 17. So it helps, we hope, with being able to build characters quickly and things like that. And then this thing down here, the thing that you're going to be using, this attribute determination scratch sheet. It's a sample, and it helps keep everything in order so you know where you're going. Okay. Character species. Now on page 19, I've got these different, I've got the species features. I talk about love among the species because I've had a lot of questions of like, well, do you have half species? Do you have half this, half that? And I'm like, no, because I don't want to me, that muddies the water, in my opinion. Let's just, the species are the species, right? Yeah. And then I also had a play, we wrote in there, play how you see yourself, because we really believe it's important that we, right off the bat, right out of the gate, establish that we expect you to play exactly who you want to be. And that crosses every line, in my opinion, right? So then we, on page 20, we have this quick species reference for people who are like, don't want to read through all the other ones to get an idea of what they want to play. We've decided to go with the Manics. They are the little ones. Do you see this icon, these images here of how big they are compared to everybody else? I don't think they even make 3 foot. Yeah, they don't even make 3 foot. And then we have the beginning of the species. So they are in alphabetical order. There are 15 of them. And we will just jump right on down to the Manics, which I believe is on page 43. And like I said, they have a culture, but they don't have their own culture, and they actually don't even have their own language in that sense. They borrow language from everybody else. So it's really like a pidgin Creole language. You would think I'd be able to speak that language at some point. So they have a bunch of different, they blend a lot of things from ancient common with current species and current other languages that they have, which is why they're so able to pick up species languages all the way. Yeah, they're super adaptable in that particular thing. So on page 44 is where we begin your journey to become Manics, or develop a Manics. In the gray box there, it says Manic features. See that? On page 44. Okay, so on the second page of your character sheet, there's another box. It says species, features, and traits. Okay, and what you're going to do is, and I found out when I was actually playing this with some people and they're actually creating characters recently on Twitch with me, that I needed to move something. So I moved some things around. But what you're going to need to do is, please don't. Okay, good. It's not moving. So we're going to start with languages. So everything that is languages, resistances for the most part, and your bonuses go in that little tiny gray box, right? And if you're using the PDF is unlocked for you, so you should just be able to copy and paste that. So the first thing you'd want to do is languages. And one of the things that you want to do is it says at the bottom, says you get to speak, you start off with Manix, you can speak Kanish, you can speak Kovish, and either Ravad or Common. And you have to make your decision on that. The Elwyn. No, they're Elwyn. Yeah, they're not Elvish in that sense. Yeah, they're not Elvish. Common is literally is common, and it's not like it's like an English language. It's kind of like a trade language that everybody speaks. It's kind of like if you've ever played Star Wars, it's basics. Okay. Give me a mic check there.
Boop, 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 boop,
There
boop.
we go. All right, very good. For some reason, I've been having issues with my desktop audio in Slobs, in Streamlabs OBS, and every now and again it gets it. And I have a great moderator out there, Drunken Serb. He's like, "Hey, your mic's not working." Thank you. So yeah, Common is like the basic language. It's everybody's language. Most people have it. Some people don't. It just depends on what we're doing, right? And then what you'll want to do is just go ahead and copy and paste these resistances and stuff. And I'm going to do the character with you so I can follow along, make sure if you have any questions or things like that. It helps me visualize what you're doing.
No, they all seem to make really good sense, especially as you discuss that the gift of languages clause that they can climb. You know, everyone's seen a mouse climb some ridiculous things that they shouldn't have been able to.
Right. And then you're going to come across some parts of it when you're putting in there that you're going to have to like cliff note it, right? So, you know, like once per rank. So once per rank, you can attempt to learn any new language with an intelligence check at a TS of 4. And then claws gives you a bonus to your climbing, I believe, as well as a natural weapon. So it's a plus 20 to all climbing attempts. And there we go. There, good. And base damage of 1. So plus 20. So plus 20 climb and a base damage, which we call BD, of 1. So basically, if you're caught without any weapons, you can still scratch somebody's eyes out with a base damage of 1. And we'll get into that. And if you're used to like the World of Darkness D10 die pool, right, counting out successes based off that, our mechanic is based off that. But we only use 2D10 to emulate rolling several D10 and then figuring out those successes. And then what's the last one? Swift stealth. Basically,
like
you can run and still be stealthy, which makes sense for a small mouse-like being. Now, before we finish with this box and before we choose your first abilities, we're gonna do a little putting around. So you get a plus 10 to your litmus checks. So go up to the skills section, which is on the first page, and just put a plus 10 in the alertness, because we're going to add some things to that in a little while. And when you're done with that, in the small gray box where it says fear, go ahead and put a plus 10 there.
And plus 10 in fear.
And then I think there's also plus 20 for your climb, so put a plus 20 in there for your climb, and we'll figure out whether it's going to be agility or strength based after we roll up your actual attributes. And that, I believe, is it for you. Plus 10, plus 10, plus 20. All right, so those are all your basic Manix features. You do have height and night vision.
Sorry, just give me 1 second.
No worries.
There are a few things already in this spreadsheet that I just need to get rid of. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, sometimes I do these with people and then I forget to clean them out and then I send out copies to them.
So, okay. And it was plus 20 climb, wasn't it?
Yes, plus 20 climb.
So plus 10 alertness, plus 20 climb, plus 10 fear. Did I miss anything?
No, I think that's it.
Awesome. Cool.
Okay. All right. Um. So on the second sheet, there is vision. You have heightened night vision. You're the only species that has heightened night vision. Everybody else either has night vision or normal vision. So you can see really well in the dark.
Awesome. Sorry, on which page is that?
That's the second page. Underneath personal information at the top. It's
Wait.
vision.
Cool.
Yeah.
So heightened night vision.
Heightened night vision.
Cool.
And then you have a base movement of 10. Sorry, you got short legs.
Oh yeah, man. Tiny, tiny, tiny legs.
And then your size, though, is only going to be small. But we're going to figure out your size. You can either figure out your size in one of two ways. Either you can go by what's there, they're small creatures, and your age. You don't live for very long. So
Well, you're in and out.
Yeah, you're in and out. So you can do an average. I mean, if you play 15, that's actually gonna give you some negatives to your attributes because you're playing such an old character.
I would say.
And you can average that out.
They would be about.
So 3 would be approximately 16 to 18 for us.
I reckon we're probably looking at about 7. So halfway there.
Okay, so you're in your 30s. Right on. All right, so every character in Legends of Kralis builds most of their character based off of abilities and skills at this point. Every species begins with two species abilities, which are still on page 44, and you get to choose 2 of those that are your specific species abilities. These are natural inborn things.
I think, and that's why I'm small. I really like. I think that's a really. Oh, but you got to be sharing their space. So many cool things. I think I would go in the shadow.
Shadows, brilliant.
If we're going off the archetype idea.
Well, and again, like I said, that's the start of your archetype idea, but things are going to change as you open up new areas. Like, oh God, I could actually do that. That's even more fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to do, and that's why I'm small and in the shadows. There's your perfect one, right? You were talking about how you wanted to clean up the mess behind the pirate. Diplomat.
Yeah. Diplomat. Yeah, I think I was looking at that. And also like I am very much a person of like play also to your personal play style. I like talking. So haggling and doing interrogation and convince checks is something I actually really enjoy doing in game.
There you go. So go ahead
so in the shadows and diplomat.
All right. So what you'll do is, if you want to, you can either type it in or you can copy and paste it. It's going to go on the second sheet in the section below the species and features in the section called abilities, and you can just drop those in there.
Okay. And do I go and add my plus 10 to my?
Yes.
Convince check. That's actually really powerful because it's plus 10 to convince, plus 10 to haggle, and plus 10 to interrogate. So that's like quite a big buff. I do really like how you've got like so like for interrogate and for entertain. And for these different things, that you can use different stats to pair with that skill set, because that's much more realistic to the way things work. I like it.
Well, thank you. Well, and there's only a couple things that, I mean, you can't, you can, I guess you could try to haggle with, being mean and brawny and picking someone up by the throat and haggling him that way, but that's not the standard way you're going to do. You're going to kind of charm them and hopefully, not piss them off and they call the city guard on you, or they end up sending a bounty hunter after you because you just were stupid and, those kind of things. But we'll definitely be checking those out a little bit later at that. So that's basically done for that section of your character.
Cool.
Now, before we move from here, if you want to, you can decide on a name. Typical names are on page 43. And I grew up on Redwall. Did you read Redwall? Do you remember Redwall? Oh. Yes or no?
No.
So Redwall is by Brian Jacques, and it's basically the tales of these mouse folk who go through living through things, and they have names that are like Jacob the Swift, Malcolm the Gray, based off of their coloring of their coats, or you have a snake that's called, like One Eye or something, just something and it's all animalistic. So there's badgers and snakes and mice. And so I was like, I really want to pull that in. So you can make up your own name, absolutely, but it's generally like the name and then something that they're known for, like Amos the War Shadow or Anna the White, because maybe she's got a coat of white hair or just a streak of white hair.
So we're talking about stuff that they've gone through, or incidences. If this was a Mannix who had come into relationship with the cat pirate really early on in their life, maybe even possibly born on the boat or something like that, could it be something related to the water or to boats?
Remember, so don't just when you talk about being a pirate in Legends of Kralis, there's more than just ocean. There's the airships, and then there's the void, which is space. There are space pirates for all intents and purposes.
I want space pirates.
So, and I actually developed your character, the Jakara, to actually be a void pirate.
That is very cool.
Because everybody likes to be in the place of darkness where it can kill you without much happening.
Yes. Yes. So I feel like it would be something related to the job that they do in the void. But I'm just trying to think of a...
So let's do this. Why don't you just give them a first name, whatever you want, and then as we develop your character and we get into it, maybe that'll spark an idea for you when you choose your background and your focus and all this other stuff.
Sure, let's do that. I will call them... Look at my creative mind working. I'm gonna go with Elsa.
Elsa. Is that going to be the standard standard?
Yeah. Just ELSA.
Okay. Brilliant. All right. So like I said, we are essentially done. So when you dive into this and as a player start going, hey, I want to play a Mannix, you'll be able to get through this very quickly because it's just a matter of either writing it down or copying, pasting it. And there's not a lot of talking and stuff like that. Now, one of the cool things about, if you haven't had a chance, Mootly, is make sure that you go through and after we're done here, read, or maybe you already did, but the cultural canon communities, right, gives a lot of indication of how Mannix communities work. So you can definitely read that. That's really, it's a semi-rigid hierarchy that is kind of interesting. I don't know. It's world building and it's hard to do.
Yes, it is.
So we will move on. Since we're essentially done with that, we are going to now generate your attributes. That's going to be on page 53.
Page 53.
All right, and you're going to need that wonderful, crazy sheet that you don't know what to do with. And I'm going to show you how this works. So we base all our attributes, basic attributes, on your size of your species that you've chosen. You being a small are going to have lower strength and stamina, but higher perception and agility.
Ooh.
Okay. So what you need to do is in your strengths, in the first box where it says base size, and you can either read it, which is right there on page 53, or I can just tell you.
I can read it. So we're starting out with some 40 and 40 in strength and stamina, and 60 in agility and perception. And then the rest get a nice little 50.
Right. And so those are actually the attributes are divided into the physical attributes and the mental attributes. Just figured 50 is a good place to start since we're a D100 system, right down the middle. And now you get to choose. No, we're going to do it the right way. So now you're going to pick out 4 dice, 4d10.
I think I might actually have 14 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And just roll all 4?
So what you're going to do, yes, you're going to roll all 4. And what you're going to do is when you roll those, I want you to re-roll any ones and then drop the lowest and add those 3 together.
So drop the lowest?
Re-roll any ones first.
Yep.
And then drop the lowest.
$19.
Okay, so you're going to do that 7 more times. And I'm going to track it for you. And
Thank you.
What you're going to do is at the end of this, I'll tell you which one, the rolls that you've got, and you get to place them however you want, what you feel is important to you.
It's not bad. Wow. 25. It's a nice start when you get like a...
Would you roll? 25?
25.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's a good roll.
Yeah, a 10, a 9, and a 6. Not bad. Whoo! 26.
Brilliant.
That's a little bit more reasonable. 20.
20? Okay.
Another 26. This is maybe the best rolling I've done in a long time.
That's because
That's better.
Oh, did you roll low?
That's more painful. Yes, there we go. Low in relevance to the others. 12.
Ooh, yeah, that's kind of below average.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have said. You shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't have said anything.
21.
And one more.
19.
19. All right. So, I've written these down for you. And so what you get to do now is you get to place these scores where you want to place. Now, you had said you want to be kind of like the engineer, mechanic, stealthy person. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So the things that are going to be important to you are going to be your intelligence, willpower, agility, and perception. Those are going to be your and charisma, because you're also going to be the negotiator. So those are going to be your 5 attributes that you want to kind of converge your highest scores into. Now, in that same vein, there is no there. We have, you know how like in some games you have a dump stat. We don't necessarily have a dump stat unless it's a stat that you just don't care about. Then it becomes a dump stat. But everything matters. Like if you use a weapon and you don't take a specific ability to use your agility, or that uses your agility modifier or your perception modifier, it's going to be based off of strength. That bonus damage is going to come from your strength. So however you want to. So you've got two 26s, a 25, and a 21 right off the bat.
So I would put the 26 starting off with intelligence.
Brilliant.
That just seems sensible.
Yeah. You have another 26.
And so what does wits do?
Wits.
What's wits?
So the difference between intelligence and wits. Intelligence is book smarts. Wits is know how to do the street stuff. Like you're witty. Like you're capable of making people laugh and insulting them all at the same time.
I think that would be the natural next.
Okay.
26.
Now remember, charisma is the social hub of characters. Charisma is the social hub, where strength is like the combat hub, willpower is the stealthy hub, and intelligence is the knowledge hub.
So willpower is your stealth, not agility.
It helps, but the willpower is where we have a lot of the abilities for stealth things, like being able to actually use what's called shadow data, and actually being able to blink between shadows is willpower based, and that's a shadow ability, or a stealth ability.
I think we're gonna need to put the 20.
You have a 25
Yeah, put the 25 in that.
in willpower.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a 21.
I want to put that in perception.
Okay.
Because I also like, I think again that whole like the way that you play, I am very much one of those players who loves noticing shit and trying to put things together. And I think also if we're having a character who's very perceptive and watching stuff all around them, and I feel more comfortable with it because they've already got that +10. Actually, I'm going to change that when I think about the species modifier that comes into play. I might put a 19 in perception and the 21 in charisma. And then...
And you have that 20.
Yeah. Now, I got... a 20, a 12, and a 19 left.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I will put the 19 in agility. And a 20 in stamina. And yeah, I will put the 12 in strength.
Really.
It's a little mouse.
It's a little mouse. What do you expect?
Just a little mouse.
And stick you with a needle. All right. So as you were looking at the species modifiers, you were taking into consideration the bonuses that you gain for your species modifiers. However, I've also included a rule down at the bottom that if you want to use is called it pulls away from the biocentrism of the species. So if you want to use this rule, you can. It allows you to have two +10s to any 2 attributes and a +5 to any 1. It is a bonus because you get the +5. Or you can just go with the straight, you know what? I'm going to do what's listed for the mags.
I might do the +2 +10s and a 5.
All right.
I want her to be an uber nerd.
An uber nerd. Okay.
an uber nerd. So I'll put a +10, and I put that in the species modifier box.
Yes, ma'am.
So add a +10 into that.
And intelligence.
Mhm.
Okay.
And a +10 in willpower.
Okay.
And a +5 in perception. Sorry, the 10 in intelligence and willpower, and 5 in perception.
I've got you right there. I'm right alongside you. All right. So now you basically got your core, what your character attributes are going to be. The next thing we're going to do is on page 54 is where you start to develop what your character kind of does and kind of helps to determine your background, only in the sense of it gives you an idea. So the closest thing that we come to classes is focuses, character focuses. There's a combat focus, a knowledge focus, a social focus, and a stealth focus. Combat focus, obviously, straight up the bat, you're going to be a fighter, right? That's essentially what that is. Knowledge focus is not straight up being not only just a spellcaster or mage or what have you, but we have abilities that allow you to become biomechanists, being able to replace lost arms, hearts ripped out of other people, which has actually happened. Other characters, not real people. Just want to say that on Twitch. It's never happened in real life. It's only happened in the game. Social is not only your druids, clerics, bards kind of concepts, but it's also your social liars, the people who can go into a situation socially and dominate it, or in the middle of combat use their social capability to actually stop or get people to quit and run away, those kind of things. And then of course stealth is your assassins, your thieves, your ninjas, quote unquote, people who are going to be stealthy and deal with things that are thieverish in a sense.
I feel like a biomechanic kind of vibe, engineer kind of
Okay.
thing.
That would be
Would
knowledge.
Suit her, so that would be knowledge.
Yes, ma'am. Now, within knowledge, now you so there's a couple of things that happen when you pick a bonus. Focus. So in the skills bonuses, you're going to get so you're going to get 2 additional free trained language skills, which we'll get to, and 3 other trained knowledge skills other than spellcraft that you choose a skill. So basically, as a knowledge focus, you're essentially starting off with 3 other knowledge skills that you're going to get, and I'm going to remember this for you, or normally you could write it down, and 2 free trained language skills, which is kind of important, right? And this really plays into you being a Manix and being a language person, right? So that's where that works. Now, like I said earlier, every character starts off with 5 abilities. This is where you choose your next 2 abilities, which are your bonus abilities. And these are Alchemica, Animal Transformation, Arcane Appraisal, Biomechanics, Call Familiar, Totem Magic, Drain, Focus, Elemental Sphere, Inherent Knowledge, Inherent Languages, Dreaming, Necromantic Sight, Necromantic Studies, and Spell Affinity.
Oh, they all sound really cool.
So I can help you break this down a lot more. So Necromantic Sight, Necromantic Studies are going to be things that are going to actually... So Necromantic Sight allows you to see images of undead things that may be like in a crypt or something like that at some point, or ghosts, because apparitions are only in our realm long enough to attack you before they go back into another existence, and then they keep coming back. So they don't just float around all the time. They can actually determine where they go. Alchemica is literally alchemical componentries that allow you to do certain things. Animal Transformation allows you to transform into an animal. Arcane Appraisal allows you to appraise arcane or magical items. Biomechanics is quite literally what it means. It is the ability to build, construct, and repair biomechanical things. Like, let's say you want to give yourself some wings at some point. Okay, you can biomechanically craft your own wings. It's a little bit down the road. It's not something that's going to happen right off the bat. Call Familiar, obviously, you're going to call Familiar. Totem Magic is crafting yourself your own personal totem. Drain actually allows you to drain other people of their fatigue and possible health. Focus is a really good one, simply because it allows you to gain a certain amount, a certain bonus to any skills or a specific skill that you use for the next X number of turns. So that would be a good one for you. Elemental Sphere is dealing again with magical stuff. Inherent Knowledge gives you some additional bonuses to skills. Inherent Languages is more languages. Dreaming is allowing you to enter other people's dreams, both as like living, like waking dreams in a sense. Necromantic Sight is again being able to see things that are undead. Necromantic Studies actually allows you to add a componentry of dark essence to your spells, like bonus damage, and then it also allows you to do other things. And then Spell Affinity is you have an affinity to a specific spell category, essentially. And I've completely butchered on all of that, so don't take my exact words for it.
I think I like biomechanics. I like the idea of this cyberpunk mouse who's like going in there and playing with their own. I've only got 15 years to live. I'm gonna like get as much out of my body and other people's bodies as I possibly can.
So you're gonna play Rocket Raccoon.
Ouch.
Okay, and what's the other one that you want to use?
I think focus works really
Focus, good. All right, so just grab both of those, and these will go back onto your abilities that you're going to gain, and we will add lines to that in just a minute. Okay. Now, and what's really cool is that let me know when you're done with that.
well. Focus and biomechanics.
All right. You also gain plus 10 fatigue points, which is important. So that's going to go up on your first sheet on the left-hand side, kind of in the middle where it says health points and fatigue points. Put a plus 10 there. And every 5 ranks, you gain an additional free skill. So that would be something I would put in my species features and abilities.
So every 5 ranks, I get a new skill?
A new skill. Free new skill. So, yeah. Okay. Now, part of you choosing the knowledge focus allows you to now add additional focus modifiers to your attributes. Since you went knowledge, you're going to gain an automatic plus 5 to your intelligence.
Cool.
You are definitely the nerd. And then you get to choose a plus.
The modifier, sorry?
I'm sorry, it was a plus 5 to your intelligence. That's the first free one.
Mm-hmm.
And just to let you know, in case you're wondering where it's at, it's on page 54. It's in the gray box. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you get to choose. You gain another plus 5 to either willpower, wits, or stamina. Only one to only those 3.
Okay. So the question, make myself possibly a little less fragile or max out my brain? I might go plus 5 to stamina actually. Just need a little bit of extra chunk.
And so stamina is where we get most of our fatigue from anyway. So it's kind of helpful to have. All right. So we are essentially done with your attribute generation score. So now on the left-hand side, you should have scores that are like 52, 65, 79, 84, a 91, a 76, an 85, and a 71.
I do.
Right. Now we're going to take those and we're going to plop them into the attributes right at the top of your first of your sheet.
So is the ones in the left side that you put it in, or because there's?
Yeah. So you're going to put it in the left-hand side ones because then the modifiers are going to generate for you automatically.
Right.
I
Wow,
tried to be as helpful as I can be.
I'm like the person who filled this shit in before me had like 92 stamina, and I'm like, 65. I'm gonna die.
No, it's not so much your stamina that you have to worry about. It's the fact that you've only started off with 20 health.
Yeah, I am small,
You're
but
small and
that's why I just
fragile.
up the stealth, up the stealth.
Stay behind the Jakara who will protect you. That's what your thing is. And
Or like just blow stuff up from a distance.
right, and you can. Yeah. We'll see how that works out. All right, so we are essentially done with that. There's some other things that when we actually do focus bonuses and these kind of things on page 55, which basically goes through and tells you basically this. Now that you've chosen knowledge, when we choose your skills, you get to choose 4 of those skills. Those 4 skills will ultimately become your focus skills, and they gain an additional plus 10. And those are all knowledge-based skills. But now we're going to get into the crunchy part of the character.
Ooh, crunchy.
This is the crunchy part. This is where the math kind of kicks you in the teeth. All right. It's not super crunchy. It's my wife is always saying, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Love her to death. So she's pretty smart, though. She doesn't give herself enough credit. So what you're going to do is this. Oh my God, we have a cat that just walked in the house and wants attention. You hearing?
I do.
Like,
The captain is not impressed.
Yeah, give me attention. All right, so what you're going to do is for your health points, you're going to start off with 20 plus your stamina modifier and your willpower modifier. So looks like you have 30 to start off with, which isn't too bad. Excuse me 1 second. I have put the child to bed.
Go to sleep, kitten.
Go to sleep. All right. So I don't know if you.
So I put 30 in current health and 30 in max health. Would that be correct?
It should demonstrate. It should go all the way through, but yeah, it'd be 30 in your current health and 30 in your max health. Now you'll see how it kind of automatically does that. So if you reach 15 or 15 health points, or between 15 and 8 health points, everything that you do is going to suffer a penalty. So the worse you get, the worse it's going to hurt you, if that makes sense.
Yep. I have an ouchie. It makes it harder to do things.
Right. And then if you get at 8, it's even worse. And then if I in one attack take you to 8 points or less, I could potentially, as a GM, it's an optional rule, could ask you to do a instant death, stamina or willpower check, or die. And it's not really death. It's kind of like really messes you up, but you're going to die quickly. You'll die quickly. So there's that. Now, fatigue points is your entire stamina score plus your willpower modifier plus any attributes
So my
modifiers.
entire stamina score, which is 65, plus 7 is 72. It was plus my willpower and plus what?
And the plus 10 that you have already in your fatigue.
So that would be 82.
82, yes, ma'am.
I can math.
Math is, I don't know, I think it's easy. To a point. My kid can do algebraic expressions in his head, and that blows me away. Like, he's a math freak in that sense.
We all have our strengths.
That's his. And the only thing he wants to be is a mechanic. That's all he cares about. He wants to be a mechanic. I'm like, all right, you go, kid.
That's not all he wants to.
You can use a lot of maths and mechanics.
Yeah, you can use a lot of
Very
math,
cool.
math and mechanics, but he likes that. All right, so now we're gonna do our physical defense. Now we're gonna do our defenses, which are our physical, magical, divine, and Jinhur defense. So it starts off. So your physical defense is 30 plus your perception modifier and your agility modifier. So for you, it looks like it's going to be 41.
I have a bonus from? Did I take because I'm small? No, I didn't.
Nope. Yeah,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't. But if I had because I'm small, that would give me a +10 to that.
Yes,
Cool,
ma'am.
yeah.
Absolutely. Your magical defense is going to be your intelligence modifier and your stamina modifier plus 30. So that's 41. Thank you. Thank you for that high intelligence. Divine defense is going to be your charisma and your willpower plus 30. So that's 34, 41. I can do math too. Yeah, 41. And then your Jinhu defense is going to be 30 plus your willpower and your intelligence. And that looks like that's your best one at 45.
The mystical energy.
That mystical energy. So are you an anime kind of person? Do you like anime?
I in my young days, but not so much.
So did you ever watch Naruto?
Yes.
You know the hand symbols that they do in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially what Jinhu is. It allows you to do that and do attacks with it and combine it with your attacks. That's the concept where I started. It actually a long, long time ago when I first wrote it, it started off as psionics. I'm like, no, I don't want to do psionics. Psionics is a lot of weird stuff. And everybody does psionics. Let me do something different. So that's what that is. So we've already got your movement, which is your based off your size, which is small. Now, heroic luck is probably the most. I almost, in some cases, I would say it's probably the most important stat you have. It allows you to literally change how the game is working around you, mechanically, and all this other stuff. So you start off with 4. It's your charisma modifier. Got it? Okay. And like I said, so you started off with an age of 13, you said?
7.
7. So you're 7. So that's going to go on your back. So now we're kind of working on some things on the back side of your sheet, top of the second sheet, personal information. You're 7. And then I allow you to do whatever you want to do on this. If you want to randomly generate your height and weight, you can, or you can just, take the average.
Well, current sheet says that I'm 9 foot, which I'm not.
That's a very big mouse.
That is a very big mouse. I'm going to say they're small on even for their species.
Right. So the base is 2'4".
So the base is 2'4". Yeah, we'll go 2'4".
Oh, you're
I
tiny.
think that's.
You're itty bitty.
I'm itty bitty.
You're very.
I like the
itty
idea of like getting up in there and being able to like literally go through like mechanics and stuff. Be cool.
Awesome. All right.
The kind of creature that could go through a trebuchet and like pull it apart.
There you
while
go.
they're working on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. While people are
And
shooting
they're
at
not. Yeah, they're not 364.
you, that would be a small little chunky mouse.
It would be chunky mouse.
Yeah, chunky mouse. So Manics start off with a base weight of 25 and then add 2d10, so it's 2 to 20 pounds. The average would be 10, or you can just do 25. It's up to you.
I'm gonna do 28.
28. Okay.
Just the idea that like, gee, they do have a bit of an extravagant life, Adele and Elsa.
Adele, and they
So,
probably do.
Little bit chubby, a little bit.
Little-
Had a bit too.
You've got the mouse bod, right? Kind of like the
Very
dad
much
bod, but definitely the mouse bod. And like I said, you're the only species that has height and night vision, which gives you some benefits and things like that. So you take no penalties in anything less than low torch lit areas, unlit rooms, overcast moonless nights. Only a -10, and in absolute darkness, a -20, where everybody else is like scrambling to try to find the wall. In fact, they're blind in some cases. Now, on the back sheet, there is a encumbrance just below your personal information.
Just hear me go. Cool. Encumbrance.
So you can literally. So now encumbrance doesn't mean how much you like physically carry with you, but how much weight you can support. Right. So as a 2'4", 28-pound mouse, you can basically bench press 260 pounds. You're not going anywhere, and you're not going to be able to withstand it for a long time. But yeah, you could drag this. This actually plays into it where you have to drag Adele out of things where she's like wounded, or maybe she had too much fun at the local tavern that night, and you need to drag her butt back to the ship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love it. So and so even though I look at that, that's really interesting. That makes it really interesting. When you think about it for that particular character, because normally you'd look at any character and say like 52 strength. That's a low end strength. It's the dump stat. But for a mouse,
A 2'4" mouse.
2'4" mouse. How many pounds is that again?
For what, the weight? Or no, that's 260 pounds max lift.
And when they're not moving, that's better than me.
You may be chunky, but you're spry and wiry. So just to let you know, it's like if you've got an encumbrance level of severe, which is up to 6 times your strength, your movement is reduced to a quarter, so that you're literally moving 2 feet every turn. Your physical checks are a -10 success. All physical checks are a -10 success penalty, and you're losing 80 fatigue every half hour. And that's the maximum weight you can lift without moving.
But the PDF automatically works that out for you.
Yes, it does. Except you have to put the maximum lift in there, which is literally the same thing as your severe lift. We'll just call you Mighty Mouse. All right.
I like it, and I think those if you're trying to do something really extreme, you're only wanting to do it for like a really short period.
Yeah,
of
it's
time.
going to only be a short period of time. But yeah, I mean, I could see Elsa dragging Adele back to the ship from her having
drunk.
Yeah, because she's had too much fun. Now your initiative should already been generated at the top of the first page, and I think you have an initiative of 16.
16.
Yeah. And so the way we do initiative is you'll roll a d10 and add that to whatever you get to 16. And in some cases, so you could have a max of 26 and a minimum of 17, with an average of about 21, which is good. But there are species out there, creatures, monsters that can move, that literally have an initiative of like 46 and above. Right? And you're like, well, I can never go faster than that. We actually have an ability that literally states you always go first. It could be have an initiative of 1,000. I'm going first. All right. So now we start to delve into who Elsa really is. Is she good? Is she neutral? Or is she evil?
I think okay, I guess I have to ask this. Having a quick look on your definitions.
So page 61 is where you want to go. So I wrote philosophies to be as realistic as possible, and there's still going to be people that argue with my decisions, and that's okay. I'm good with that. I see the world as 90% of the world is everybody's neutral. They do a little good, they do a little evil, they find $100 bill on the floor, they don't take it to the grocery person and say, listen, I found this, they stick it in their pocket and they move on. If you're good, you have to work at being good, because what we do is we give you philosophy points. If you're going to be evil, you have to work at being evil. It's not just a natural thing. And philosophy points help you determine how good or how evil you are. Neutrality can get away with however they want to behave within their own moral compass, and the consequences that will be coming.
Okay, look. Normally, I would say if I was playing this as a player character of like in my own game that I wanted to play, they probably would be neutral and they would be like, haha, we're pirates. But because it's more fun I want to make them villains.
So
As a pair.
So
I think that,
are you saying you're gonna go evil?
yeah,
All
I
right.
think, and I always love the biomechanic kind of idea as like someone who um is will rip off somebody else's limb and attach it to themselves if it's going to give them advantage, or you know, they are, you know, they're the kind of villains that they're not looking out for the end of the world, but they have spent a lot of time in the void, and I think that has changed them.
So I really want you to contemplate that as an evil. There's a difference between evil and being neutral that changes you, and you're kind of like your scruples aren't as perfect as they are compared to evil. If you have a second, read what evil is on page 61.
I guess I did, and I just am caught on this, like, the entire world is based on self-interest.
And that can be a neutral position, right? So evil literally means you are going out of your way to hurt other people.
Yeah, probably not that evil.
Enjoy causing harm.
I would make them neutral antagonists.
That works.
So they're very self-interested. They're out for the next big score. If the end of the world was happening, they probably would get involved because it was like, shit, the whole world's going to end.
Right.
So we better help.
Right.
But we will only put ourselves out
If
this
necessary.
far. And then, like, if it came to that, those moments where, like, the hero good guys are all like someone's having to make this self-sacrifice.
Yeah, they're not going to make that sacrifice.
They're not going to make that sacrifice. In fact, they might just go over and boot one of the others over to get over to hurry up to move on.
Gotta move on. We're sacrificing you. What? Right. And but see that's neutrality. Neutrality is this huge spectrum in my personal belief when we talk about character philosophies and alignments. I think 90% of the world, most people are neutral, and you have to work at being good, and you have to work at being evil. I always use and I don't even want to get into the true philosophical political spectrums, only because I just want to touch on the surface. It's Mother Teresa versus Hitler.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the difference here, and everybody else is in between that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're neutral. Good. In the game. Yeah. Now we dive even further into what makes Elsa Elsa. You get to choose an aspects and a motivation. Now your motivation actually, the one that you don't have, the player's guidebook, you don't have this new rule in there, but I'm going to tell you what it is. When you pick a motivation, it actually influences your reputation. So you get an aspect and a motivation.
Cool. Cool. All right. No. Not apprehensive. And they're not bold. They're definitely not charming. I think Elsa's the unflinching aspect. With the I'm caught between like the unflinching aspect and the loyalty aspect.
But not the
As in
selfish act. But not the selfish aspect.
The aspect between the two of them.
But you're not contemplating the selfish aspect.
No, it's interesting because they're kind of like multifaceted, aren't they? Because they've got this alliance connection with their cat buddy. but they are inherently like outside of their little bubble. They are very selfish, but like kind of oh my god, kind of in like in that sorry. Um kind of like in that Too Fast, Too Furious, I got family kind of way. Um I think here's the thing. I think that Adele would have the selfish aspect, but Elsa would have the loyalty aspect.
Okay. So you're gonna go with what aspect with her?
Loyalty.
Loyalty. All right. So on the backside of your sheet,
Oh
there's a.
no,
Uh oh.
no. I changed my mind. I changed my
Uh
mind. I'm gonna go with unflinching. I'm gonna go with unflinching, I think.
oh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So on the backside of your sheet is your aspects. Go ahead and pick unflinching. And what's cool about the aspects and motivations is there's a rule in the Game Master's Guide that actually allows you to call upon your aspects and your motivations to actually give you bonuses to certain things at certain times. However, if you mess it up, you're really going to get hurt for it.
Oh, I can imagine.
Now, motivations. What motivates you? Motivates Elsa.
Possessions. Possessions. Yeah, I think possessions would be it. No, actually, I lie. It's really interesting to think about, like, these different motivations. I think obscure knowledge, actually.
I'm not
I
going
think
to.
obscure knowledge
Are you sure?
is very much in like the how to get like strengthen their biomechanical skills and figure out how to be better, a bigger and better engineer at all times. Like they're very increasing their skills focused. I think. Oh, this is really deep, and it's like, it's interesting. It's like putting into like words a lot of stuff that I generally have in the back of my head for character development and how I play a character.
Right.
But I generally don't put it down, if that makes sense. So having to like
actually think about it and put this finally on paper. Yeah, it's not an easy choice, but it's a fun choice. This actually helps you develop your character, and as part of the merit that we actually gain, if you actually play to your aspect and motivations, you get a lot of merit for that.
Yeah, no, I lied. I changed it. It's possession. It is possession. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the two of them together. I think that if she did have an absolute obscure knowledge motivation, despite her, she would probably leave and go off and be 100% focused on doing that. So I think possession. Stuff.
Is that your final decision?
So stressful. For a character that I'm not actually playing at the moment. So stressful. Yes, it is.
All right. We'll make that solid now. So with possession, on the other side there is on page 63 is reputation. Now reputation is I'm kind of playing with the mechanic, but right now the way it works right now is all reputation, honor, influence, and renown starts with a base of 25. However, because you took possession, your honor reputation is down by 10 right off the bat, so it's 15.
Oh. People know I'm dodgy. Good.
No, not so much the people. It's the people that rule over the people that know you're dodgy. They're like, oh, we know you. Yes, we've heard of you, and we don't trust you. Put her in chains, kind of thing, And that's that. And we're actually playing around with that right now. We're gonna end up doing something I think pretty cool with it ultimately.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, now background. There
Ooh.
are 13 different backgrounds here. 13 or 14. And this is a decision I cannot even begin to help you with. This is the one that's gonna rack your brain. Miss Mootley, I think this is gonna break you.
Watch as Dell goes into the loading screen and is like, yeah, which one? I love backgrounds. It's one of my like favorite parts. Hmm. Look, is Bounty Hunter fun and amazing?
Is it? I think it is.
I think it's amazing, and I think it would be very cool. For them. It's funny. The other one that I'm actually really torn about, which I could actually almost do, because she's 7, and you know that's like middle aged in mouse years. The concept of like this ex-legionnaire mouse that the Adil basically saved out of being a legionnaire and has taught them to become a pirate. Part of my brain is like, that sounds really like a really, really cool. And she can't go back to certain places because she's technically, you know, you're once a legionnaire, always a legionnaire kind of thing.
I feel you.
Um,
And
that's cool, but
that's kind of, I don't know, did you read that sentence in there? Once Legion,
Yeah, I did.
always Legion. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was cool. And then I read like the associated bonuses with all encumbrance levels are lowered by 1 category,
Mm-hmm.
which would have made Mighty Mouse literally like
She's literally going to be Mighty Mouse.
beast. But look, does Bounty Hunter have my heart?
It's got mine. I like Bounty Hunter.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So Bounty Hunter it is?
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure you don't want to be Legion?
I am tempted. I am really tempted. I'm now like writing that down for a future like possible character in the future.
All right. So we'll go with Bounty Hunter.
Going with Bounty Hunter.
All right. So what's really cool about your backgrounds is not only do we give you a couple of 3 hooks, but you can generate your own hooks. But not everybody is blessed with the imagination to be able to just pull hooks right out of the thin air for the player, the game master, and stuff like that. So we want to help you guys along with that. But let's get to the meat of the bone, right? Is your associated skill bonuses and your associated bonuses. All right. So choose 3 of them, Mootley. All 3 of those gain a +10. Let me know what they are.
So pilot.
Obviously.
I want to be able to fly the airship. Um, oh, there's so many cool ones. Um, Tracking.
Okay. And one more.
Oh, they're all so cool. Information. Oh, information
Oh,
gathering or open locks. Yeah, information gathering.
all right. Now, of those three, choose one to be a super skill. It gains an additional +10.
Oh, that hurts. Oh,
My wife made a awesome chicken tandoori, so I'm kind of like bending over and eating.
oh, enjoy. Um, Man, all three of those would be so cool as a super skill, especially since they're all intelligence based. Um, I think info gathering.
Or do you want to be the super pilot?
So hard. It's so cool now. You've
Just
made it too cool, and this is what I like about skills like this, though. This is what I love about skills. Like
awesome.
you get to make, and then you know that in the game, you'll get these really cool moments where you get to use your specializations. And
That's the hopes.
uh actually, yeah, no, I do want to be the really cool pilot. I want to be the really cool pirate, Mighty Mouse.
So
Yeah.
+20 there.
Yeah. Which makes sense as the kind of engineer character as well.
Absolutely. All right. Now, associated bonuses. You get one of those 4.
Look, they're bounty hunters. They're living on the edge.
Right.
I'm adding that 5 to heroic luck.
Absolutely. That's a no-brainer. Now you have 9.
Yeah.
If you had one more, just to let you know, so in Legends of Kralis, heroic luck is a lifesaver because it's a very deadly game. It really is. You could die very quickly, very easily. However, let's say your character dies. I mean, is dead. Well, technically dead. If you have 10 heroic luck, you can cash that heroic luck in, and by the skin of your teeth, you have somehow miraculously survived that potential death.
I like that.
Maybe you're missing an arm. Great, I can build a new one. Maybe it pierced your lung. You know, the attack pierced your lung and one lung is done. Somehow, story-wise, you survived that death.
I like that a lot.
And it's not like... Go ahead.
It kind of reminds me of like, and I kind of did want to pull it into one of my D&D games. The is it the Pathfinder mechanic where that you can do where basically you die, you're gonna die, but it'll allow the GM to let you come back to life for a period of time within that fight to make some heroic effect.
I believe it is, but I've also seen that mechanic somewhere else. But I think it's either Pathfinder or 3.5.
I really like it. It's really
one
cool,
of those two kind of concepts
from a story point of view, and also, you know, when you die from like really lame purposes and you're just dead, it can be such a sad goodbye to a character. But if you at least let them go out in like a blaze of glory.
Call of Cthulhu has something similar to that as well, where you survive, but at the end of that turn, or the end of that combat or that situation, you're dead. You've managed to do it, you've survived, but you die at the end. It's that heroic death at the end.
But yes, I like this heroic luck.
Awesome.
I've just got to roll. When I roll at least a 1 or a 5, so I can get one more.
Not 1 through 5. So you gain heroic luck a lot easier than it seems. It's not as rare as it seems. You always gain heroic luck on any roll. It doesn't matter what the roll is. If you roll an 1 through 5 on a D100, you automatically gain a heroic luck. Every time you rank up, you gain 1 heroic luck. And you can decide to purchase an additional 3 heroic luck. So every rank, technically, you could purchase and get 4 heroic luck every rank. And like I said, it's game altering. All right, we are almost done. Now we're gonna talk about experience tables, merit tables. Like I said, we use merit instead of experience. And you get to set your merit experience table every rank, and it resets every rank. Okay, and this has been a real. It's not been a real hard concept. It's thrown a couple people for a minute because they're so used to experience tables and it's being set for them. You, as the player, get to set your own experience or merit on this. However, there are 3 things there are 2 that'll never change, 1 that goes up every rank, and 1 is a variable. Okay. So, as a species, as a Mannix, your base species merit cost, which is on the second page under personal information, is a base of 1,000. Your knowledge focus is 400. Those 2 will never change. They'll always stay the same. Your campaign merit cost is going to go up by 400 every rank. By every rank. So when you're like 5th rank, it's 2,000 merit points that you need, right? But currently right now it's 400. All right, and this last one, which is your ability merit cost, will be the last ability you choose, and that's going to set what you will need to go from 1st rank to 2nd rank. And that is going to be the one that's always going to be variable, because there may be some that take like 50 merit. There are going to be some that are going to cost 2,000 merit. But you're paying for the ability to have that power or that capability. Okay? And that's essentially that. And it goes up every rank. And that just helps you determine your ranks. All right. And I just want to point this out. So if you want to come back and since you've got the PDF of the player's guide, if you want to create your own character, but you don't really have an, how do I do this? We've included on pages 70, 71, and 72, character categories where we kind of talk about, if you want to be a fighter, warrior, or soldier, here's what you want to do. Kind of walks you through that as much as possible. Because coming from games that have classes, coming to a classless game can seem very overwhelming, right? Because there's so many options. What do I do, right? And it's the paralyzation of choice. All right, now we're into skills and abilities. We are 90% done with your character. And it's been fun torturing you and watching you try to figure out what Elsa's going to do with her philosophies and her backgrounds. Now we get to make her even better. So your beginning number of skills is 6 plus your intelligence modifier. So you have a lot of intelligence. So that's what? 14 plus 3 additional skills from that have to be knowledge skills. So that's 17 plus 2 languages. You've got like 19 skills here basically, but some of them have to be allocated to the correct sources.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And so we have trained skills and untrained skills. The trained skills are the ones that you're going to pick now, or they have a little T next to them, which indicates that they have to be trained in. So like, let's say that you go and you're out and about in adventuring, but you don't have a particular skill that you'd like to try to use. If it's got a T on it, you can't try it untrained. But if it doesn't, you can try it untrained at 30 plus the controlling attribute modifier.
Oh.
So basically, all skills are open to you unless they have a T on them, and then some of them are trained. Make sense?
What does G mean?
G means general, and we're going to get to that in just 2 seconds. So, before we get into filling out all those cool skills, let's take a look at the basic skills, which are down on the first page in the gray little box. Okay.
Which is
So,
the jump leap.
You get to jump half your height, which is what's your height? It's 2'4". So you get to jump 1'2" plus 1 foot per 25 strength. So you get to jump straight up 3 feet.
Yeah.
Straight up, 3 feet off the ground. You can.
But if I'm jumping from the back of the cat lady.
Oh yeah, it's
I
gonna
get
go much higher. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So your leap forward is 5 feet, which is half your base movement. The lifting is basically your strength score, so 52. So, you know how I said you can bench press 216 pounds? For you to be able to do that, you would have to use your strength. You'd have to roll against your strength. 200 and we said 264, 260 pounds, divided by yeah, so you would have to gain about five successes in your strength check. So basically you'd have to roll a critical on that. You'd actually have to roll an ot 1 through ot 2 to actually be able to lift that severe weight.
Look, it's my max lift, man.
It's your
my
max lift.
lift.
It's your max lift. But that's where that comes in. Your swimming basic is 1 foot per 10 stamina, so you can swim doggy or mouse style 6 feet.
Very
Your
impressive.
willpower, your horror is going to be your willpower willpower score plus the 10 that you have there, so that's going to be 95. You're not too easily frightened.
And
Your
that is that will and fear is wait.
wits is horror. Oh, so yeah, you may have the older character sheet. I switched those two. I started thinking about it. I'm like, what is fear? Fear goes against what? Does it go against your wits or against your willpower? And I finally made the decision. I'm going to make it willpower. So yeah. So in either case, it doesn't. Yeah, you're good. And then so horror would be your wit score, which would be 76 for that. And then your poison check is your stamina, which is 65. Don't get poisoned. Don't get bit by a spider.
They're
And
really big.
huh?
Spiders are really big to me. They're huge.
There are some giant spiders. We call them large spiders that are actually bigger than you. They start at I think 3 feet diameter. You could ride one. Get on it. Let go.
Animal handling, man.
There you
Animal.
go. Beast handling. Yeah, there you go. All right. So now we're gonna get into your skills. On page 77 is the skill list of all the skills that are available. Now, you'll notice that they are divided into combat skills, general skills, knowledge skills, social skills, and stealth skills. That is done because your focus, which is knowledge, you get to choose 4 of those skills that become focus skills for you, and they begin with a plus 10 automatically right off the bat.
Right.
Plus the 40. So, like, let's take, for example, engineering. Something I think you're going to want to take.
Yes.
We will make that a focus skill.
So that's 10. Oh, and I tick the box next to it?
Yeah, check
Yes.
the box next to it. And it's going to be 40 plus your intelligence and plus 10. So it's a base of 58. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, now choose 3 additional, choose 3 more of those that are going to be your focus skills. Research is important. Alchemy is going to be important. Especially if you're going down the biomechanics
What's
route.
concentration?
So concentration is something that allows you to up the focus capability in a sense of what you're going to concentrate on. It's really effective in spell casting. So basically, by the means of the skill, you are better trained than others to focus and keep your concentration while under duress or during conflict, while you're attempting to complete a complex or involved task. You can, with a focus concentration, you can attempt to gain concentration bonus to a skill for a bit of time. By spending an uninterrupted 5 turns while focusing, the character may then attempt a concentration check. And you gain a +5 bonus for every 2 concentration successes that you make to the desired skill for the next turn. Add that in with your focus, and you become super focused.
Yeah, because our focus is my ability that
Right.
I've already got, isn't it?
Right. That's the knowledge focus that you took in.
Well, I'll go research
Okay.
as one of them, because yeah, as the bio engineer lady, mouse lady.
Yep.
So that would similarly be like engineering would be like 58.
Mm-hmm.
But I think concentration will take as well.
All right. So concentration. That's going to be a focus skill, and it uses your willpower modifier. So that's going to be a 57.
57. And wondering if crypto would be something that would be useful.
Cryptography. Cryptography. Well, let's take a look at cryptography for you. Cryptography is the ability to create and break codes, ciphers, and other encryptions in any language you are literate.
Yeah, I think that's their vibe.
So cryptography.
Yeah. And so that would be 58 again.
Okay. And one more. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3. Nope, that's it. That's all 4 of them.
That's all 4.
That's all 4.
So that's 4 out of 14 down.
4 out of. No, that's 4 out of 17 down.
17 skill. God.
Well,
The
because
ultimate slinky.
right, because of the fact is that you took the knowledge focus, and it gives you 3 other trained knowledge skills that you gain. So that's 3 plus your intelligence modifier is 11 plus 6. That's 17 skills, and you get 2 additional pre-trained language skills. Yeah, I mean, knowledge is definitely the high school nerd with the glasses kind of dude, right? One that we
Yeah,
always wish we, who ultimately has the keys to the universe.
Okay.
So, yeah, so you gain 3 free languages basically in addition to whatever you have.
So I know a lot.
Yeah.
Now, when I've already gained skills from other areas, so backgrounds and stuff, can I put more skill points into them here?
Yes.
Or have they already done?
Oh, absolutely. Like you could actually say, I'm going to take climb and it's going to be my agility. So it's going to be 40-65 for your climb. If you wanted to do that. Your pilot, for instance, is going to be 40-68. It'll be 68.
If I added another one
Yes.
now.
Yep, if you added that in right now.
I think I'll do that with pilot.
Hey, that's
So
a
that would-
68.
Pilot 68. And then I'll need to get stealth. So is it a plus 10 to the other ones that I pick?
So it's only going to be plus 10. So the other ones, no, those are not your focuses. You've already seen, you only get 4 focuses, four focus skills that are in knowledge only. So
Cool.
stealth is going
So-
to be 40 plus your agility modifier, so it'd be 45.
45.
Actually, I have to keep track of each one of your skills. Oh my gosh. It's easy when you've got like 6 and you're playing a fighter. And- So let's see, 1, 2. So you got 17 started. You've used 14, so that's 13. And you just did piloting, so that's 12, and stealth. So you have 11 left.
So I'm going to need fabrication. That's just gonna have to happen as a bioengineer.
Let me help you with that. As an engineer, you're going to need smithing.
Smithing as well.
Because that's armor smithing, weapon smithing, and that, and you're also going to need fabrication. You're going to need both.
Yeah. Okay. So they're not my focus skills, but when I pick them as a skill, it just means that I can use them
Yes.
by using the. Sorry, I get confused with the ones that you are picking. What do I do with those? So they don't.
So
They don't get any
they
advantage. They
they
just
get they
get.
get no advantage whatsoever. So if you're looking at your character sheet right now, you have a number of skills like alertness, climbing, convince, info gathering, interrogation, tracking. Those and a haggle all gain a bonus from your background that you've chosen and your and some other and another location and your species. Those will gain a plus whatever that bonus is. When you choose a focus, 4 skills that you get to choose out of that focus, which is knowledge for you, gain a plus 10. So had had you picked a different background and did something different, one of your focus knowledge skills could actually be upwards of 68 or 70.
Yeah.
Right? So everything else now is you don't even worry about a bonus to it unless it has a plus 10 already there.
Okay, but if they're a skill and I'm using them, it means I can use them.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So smithing, I would obviously use intelligence. I wouldn't use strength,
Yep. 48.
and that would be 48. And then same with fabrication.
48. You're down to 9.
She wants read lips,
Interesting.
which is perception.
Which would be 46.
46. And she'd have to have forgery, which is wits, which would be 45.
Down to 7.
What am
Do
7
not,
left?
yeah, 7 left. Do not let those plus 10s go to waste. They don't go to waste. They're still there. So let's say that you don't take info gathering as a trained skill.
Oh, I need to take these on top. Okay, so
Right.
well then I'll just take all these ones that I need to on top
Right.
as well.
But let's say for example, let's just say for example, you didn't take info gather. Okay.
Mhm.
But you were in a location where like, you know what, I want to try info gather. You would gain a plus 10 bonus to that. So that means that skill would be 30 plus the attribute modifier, which would be intelligence. So it'd be 38 plus your 10 because you get that from your background. So it's basically 48.
So it's still 48.
Yeah, it's still 48. But it won't get any higher than that unless you go train on it in the next rank.
Okay, but the other ones will go higher as
Right. But
I rank up.
yeah, as you rank up, and they will go higher unless you choose to do that. So alertness is going to be your perception, so that's going to be 46, 56. Your
60,
climbing
I'll
is
put-
going to be your agility. So that's going to be 25, 65.
Yeah, I kind
Your
of need that.
convince is going to be intelligence, obviously. So that's going to be 48, 58 there as well. Haggle is going to be your charisma, which is going to be 54. Information and interrogator both going to be intelligence, correct?
Yes. So they're 58.
So they're both 58.
I will leave interrogate out for the moment.
Okay.
But I will do tracking, which would also be 58.
Okay, so
Because-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You've got 1 skill left.
Oh, the pain.
31 flavors. What it'll be?
Sorry, I'm just staring at the screen
No,
as my
don't
brain goes
yeah,
through 5
don't worry
different
about it. I understand.
permutations.
understand.
I'm torn between sleight of hand and appraising because I feel like as a character, they would be able to look at something and know its worth very quickly. And I'm assuming that's what appraising is under the skill tree.
More or less, yes. The more successes you get, the more you know about the item, obviously.
Yeah, that'll be it. So that would be 48.
You're doing an appraising? All right.
Yeah.
48. It is. Boom.
It's fun.
Awesome. All right. So your skills are done, and we are 96% done with your character.
Oof.
All right. So the next thing we need to do. So like I said, all characters at first rank start off with 5 abilities. You've gotten 2 from your species, 2 from your focus, and now we're going to choose the one that you get to choose from that is yours. So, like I said, there are 302 abilities, but I've done you a favor. I've divided them up into the focuses, and on each of the, so let's do this. Let me take you to the right page. I think it's 75. 75. Ah, come here. 75. I think it's 75. Nope. It's way past that. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it starts on page 93.
93.
Right. This is where it starts to talk about character abilities and how they work and all the different things that you need to know, right?
And you've got prerequisites. So I've got to, with some skills, you've got to have certain things.
Right. So ability, so on page 94, all the way through 96 is the ability list, master ability list index.
I love it. I love it. It's cool though, because it makes your character special. You can do certain things.
Right. And yeah, but we did this because a lot of all of the veteran players that we've played with are like, can we just have the page number of where this is at? Like, all right, so let's make an index. And in each of the abilities, so if you go to page 97, this is like the section, right? These are section headers. So this is combat abilities. And then it goes all the way through to knowledge abilities, which is your focus, which starts on page 111.
111, that's what I need.
And there you are, biomechanical.
There I am.
See? That's basically what you're going to be doing.
I'm a little mouse that's in there.
Yes. All right. And so on page 113 is the knowledge abilities list.
Ooh.
So you need to make sure that you choose an ability. And the ability is one that you choose that you have to meet the requirements. So like you have to make sure, like if you're going to do alchemia, for example, which is on page 112, you have an intelligence of 80, but you would need alchemy as a skill.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why on the knowledge abilities list, there's the prerequisites of what you need.
Yeah. So we're going biomechanics. It's just which one.
Well, you've got biomechanics though. You've got biomechanics right off the bat.
Oh, so I already have that. Oh,
right. Cool. That's just part of your focus. You will want to take eventually lore biomechanics, like second rank, or we can even fix it now. Like, you know what, I'm going to take that. You've got engineering, right? On your character sheet, I believe. Engineering. Yep. Engineering. Yep. 58. Lore biomechanics and fabrication or smithing. So you've got both of those. And we know you have an intelligence much higher than 80, so you're good to go there. But you've already got it for free, but I would definitely look into taking lore biomechanics.
Ooh, craft technological item.
Yes. Lore, technology, but you would, yeah, so yeah. Okay. So if you want to take a look at those, right?
Ability to build bombs.
I'm not
sorry.
Going, I'm not going.
Sorry, Twitch. Sorry, Twitch. I'm not.
She's not intending. So if you look at biomechanics, and I'm neither going to deny or say yes to that question, but it's yeah. So biomechanics is on 115, and then craft technological item is on page 117.
What was the law one? Was that under
So lore is a skill,
law as a skill?
right? And so
And
you
what
would
would that in game help with biomechanics?
okay. So for instance, you're going to need lore biomechanics to be able to roll against a skill. So let's say that you're trying to replace, for example, you're trying to craft a prosthetic replacement, which takes 8 hours for 500 silver pieces of the item. You're trying to recreate someone's heart. You're going to need a target success of 10, which means it's going to be pretty much out of your capability until you get higher up. And so you would make a check against your lore biomechanics.
Okay, cool. I need
In
that.
addition to doing researching, smithing, and engineering. So you could do the researching. You've crafted this awesome heart, and you've engineered a power source, and then you fail on your biomechanics. Just doesn't.
Yeah.
Just doesn't. So that's where that is. So the ability gives you the ability to do it, and it relies back on skill checks for you to actually create it and do it.
These cybernetic enhancements. Yeah.
And so on page 116 is a list of the enhanced cybercraft.
I would very quickly see her replacing her own legs.
Chop them off.
Yeah. Extra 10 feet of movement, thanks.
Yeah, it's 75,000 per unit, and a lore biomechanics check TS of 4.
Yeah, that's a big check.
Yeah, that's a big check. But by the time you get to the point where you really want to do that, you'll be about 6th rank and able to do it. Without, and then you can also, if you focus and you use concentration, it's not out of the realm of possibility right at 1st or even 2nd rank. But yeah, so I think what we need to do is we need to go back to your character sheet and decide which one of those awesome skills you have and make it a lore biomechanics. God, I got bit by something.
I think I will. Oh, I like praising them. And I like breaking that. And I like that. I'll read lips, but I like.
And you could also change that to be one of your focus skills, so that way it gets, at least a 58.
The change. Oh, the law.
Yeah, so yeah. Like for example,
the law.
right, let's say for example you decide that
So I'll take crypto off.
okay.
Because it's still a 48 even if I try it. Like I can still try it with like somewhat reasonable.
Right, you can still try it untrained. No, it's trained. So it's trained.
Oh,
so
trained. No,
yeah,
I
so
wanted.
so you wouldn't be able to do that.
So that goes back to 58. Well, I think all my focuses are trained. Why have I ticked martial arts? Don't know why. Research is trained. Ooh.
Why did you choose read lips?
Because I thought. I mean, it's probably the one that I can get rid of, and she can probably give it a crack later, or it's a skill that I can probably try and train and develop later.
Absolutely. Every rank.
So I got to remember this is still a level 1, rank 1 character, so
Right.
we'll get rid of that.
Okay.
And we'll make lore biomechanics
48.
and we'll actually make it 58 and make it a focus. And I'll
Okay.
take the focus off crypto.
Okay. And that
So
becomes
I
a
still
48.
know crypto,
Right.
but
And
I've taken the focus off it.
it's 48. All right, very good. Brilliant. There we go. Solves all those kind of problems for now.
And I will want to eventually develop lore technology as well.
Absolutely.
Eventually. To be able to do the technological item crafting so I can make giant robots and wingsuits
And make yourself a Iron Man suit.
yes, pretty much.
You can do that. You can do that. Okay. So we still haven't figured out what ability you're taking. We've been focused on biomechanics and huh?
When thinking about the cultural mechanics thing, I'm thinking like Elsa Iron. Just literally based off her engineering and fabrication and smithing kind of. Cannot hear you. Have I turned myself down?
No, I'm still here.
No. Okay, I missed that
Okay.
bit. Yeah, I think Elsa Iron is her name.
Elsa.
Or Elsa of the Iron.
Elsa of
or
the
Elsa-
Iron. Okay, right on. Elsa. Ooh, what about this? Jess, I'm gonna throw this out. Elsa the Iron Maiden.
Yes, that's cool. And I love it because you say you could say, "Oh, I need to introduce you to my contact, Elsa the Iron Maiden," and then the players rock up thinking that this is going to be some giant like.
And out comes this little 2'4" mouse. Like, what?
What's up?
What is? Yeah. What do you need? Well, it kind of reminds me now, thinking about just character wise and funny wise, is I think it's Star Wars, either the second or the third one, where they take CPO to the guy that's on that one planet to because he's got that the language in him, and they have to reset it so he can receive it. And there's that dude in there, that little tiny one, like, this is him. Yes, that's him. That's him. Yes, that's him. No. So there you go.
That's the person who will fix your problems.
We still haven't picked your skill though. We still got to get that ability checked. You can still you can take craft you can take craft technological item, right? Without meeting the prerequisites. But for you to use it, you're going to need on second rank take lore technological. If that's what you want to do.
I think it is like, because there's no other abilities that really fall within her. I mean, I don't know. There's the inherent knowledge stuff.
So go check it out on page 120.
Yeah, there's all this other stuff.
So inherent knowledge, you have a 50% chance of knowing something about any type of lore, understanding of most engineering principles, a good knowledge of herbalism. If you make the 50% check, you can use your highest lore skill at a -30 penalty on any other lore. For example, you do not, if you need to do a lore tech but only have lore divine at 80, you can make the lore tech check at 50.
Question. Master of Chaos.
Oh no.
It
Just here I am. Let's go tech. What about this Master of Chaos over here? What can I use?
more like, can I do this? This looks cool.
You could do that.
No, that would be for another character. That is such a cool little ability. I like that, especially since it's only willpower based and you don't need anything else. I think inherent knowledge actually really sits within her. Her
motif.
Yeah. Like it of what's in the knowledge space. It seems like that works for her. So a lot of the other ones are magical ones, which is not really her bag. She's more of a
I love your character design. I really truly do. But I'm gonna stick a needle in you.
Yeah, go for it.
Page 160. Go to page 160. There's an ability here called telekinesis, and you automatically have the ability to do it. Intelligence and willpower.
Look,
I
am I going to take it because I'm literally visualizing them like doing engineering with their brain?
At a certain point, absolutely.
Yes. That is literally what I am seeing at the
Well,
moment.
but look
with
at this.
character.
So with at heroic level, because so some abilities have multiple tiers in them: heroic, legendary, epic, and paragon. And you only gain the next to that every 5 ranks. So if you took telekinesis, you gain the heroic level, but wouldn't be able to get to legendary status until 5th rank, right? But
Yeah, that's fine.
at heroic level, you can levitate 6 inches off the floor, and um and up to a maximum height of 5 feet per intelligence or willpower success. I mean, it's something you can look into. I just wanted to stick you with it and see how you'd react to that one. But yeah, I think inherent knowledge is a good one.
I hear you. I hear you. But now I am seeing, because I think the hard thing sometimes to some of your abilities and the way it looks at the moment is because all the abilities are there that you can grow into, your brain just goes, yay, I want the top power,
Right, exactly.
but doesn't recognize that, hey, I'm still building a first level entry character and they have to grow and
They have to
learn.
grow into it.
So I am going to take telekinesis.
You know, there's another skill called expert pilot. Another ability
Oh.
called expert pilot. It's on page 154. It doesn't do much, really. It just gives you can use any vehicle type. You gain a +10 to your handling bonus, which is a GM kind of side of things, but it gives you a better ability to use it. I'm just pointing out these small things that, unfortunately, because you're like a neophyte to the religion of Kralis, that there's some things in here that are just really go with your. You've got such a focused generalist concept of what you're doing. I could play with Elsa's first ability like crazy, because there's so many cool options that you can do.
And it's just, yeah, I like it because there's so many different ways you can take this character. Like you take the base and then you can add different things to it.
There's another ability which is called Ancient Bloodline. That's on page 148, and once you take it, you get your choice of any one of those aspects in there.
Watch me excitedly go, he, 148, hurry up, get there.
148. I just saw a small issue that I thought I took care of. What's been fun with me, with all the people I've been doing characters with, I've done in the last 2 weeks, I've done some 12 characters with different people, and it's always been fun to watch how they get to where they're getting. That to me is just, that's pure gold. So with Ancient Bloodline,
See, because you know how I said I had this like vision in my head of like, because how long do the cat folk species live for?
that's a good question. I think they are upwards of 90 to 100 years, a little more. Let me double
Okay.
check. Let me give you the exact term on that one. Age. They live to about 100.
All right. So I have this vision in my head, right, that Adele's airship or whatever the spaceship that she's in the void wasn't always hers, and she usurped it. But Elsa's family bloodline could have been living there on that boat the entire time.
That's a big
And they've
ship.
been in the void. They've been in the void for a while.
Right.
And so they have been influenced by the void. So they might have an environmental. See, this is what you can do with this stuff. Ah! You could have a situation where Elsa is stronger within the void because of environmental influence of being born within the void and
Mhm.
them being in the void so often that it has that connection. But the only problem with that is that you would have to kind of like, because the void is such a specific place, kind of the thing like how Horizon Walkers in
Right.
D&D, the Rangers,
Right.
are really good in specific campaigns. That kind of environmental influence bloodline, if you were focused on the void, would be very, very campaign specific.
Yes. it would
Because
be.
if you did anything outside of that, it would be
No, it would be useless almost.
I love species purity bloodline. You're an arrogant asshole because you think you're better than everybody else. So you have a -20 penalty to talking to other people because
you just you don't.
you just think you're better.
Yeah, your shit don't stink.
All right. Okay. See, they could go in so many wild places. And there is a part of me that's like a cat and a mouse that have an animal companion that's like a dog. Because they're arrogant or something like that. They're amazing. I think I'm going to go with telekinesis. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I love that I'm so traumatized over picking abilities for a character that I'm not playing in a campaign, but I'm just like,
Well, and the thing is this: I know where you live in the world, and it's what Saturday morning for you there, right? Or
Yeah, it
Saturday
is.
afternoon.
Mhm.
That if I could get a couple of players on this side, I would be willing to do a Friday game for you, obviously, because I'd love to check out. I'm one of those forever GMs that don't complain about being a forever GM. I love being a GM because I get to see you guys all squirm, and then I know exactly it's going to happen, or maybe happen.
And I like high risk campaigns. I do. I enjoy them quite a lot. I like the possibility of death quite high. If I get saved from death too many times when I should have died or I did something dumb, I'm often sit there going, yeah, but I should be dead now. Like, I like those styles of games.
So just just to twist the knife a little deeper in the ability choices, there is something called, well, maybe you can't. Is your charisma? Yeah, your charisma just makes it. It's called panache. You have this panache.
What page is that on?
That's page 158. Welcome to the world of Legends of Kralis. You've got everything, I think. It's just not this kitchen sink yet. Now it's an expensive ability. It's 2,000 merit. But I'll just put you down for telekinesis.
These are really cool.
They're not that cool.
Going to telekinesis, and I'm not looking. Oh, you're making me do that whole thing I do sometimes at a restaurant.
Good. It's good for you to think about what you want to do with this, right? I mean, look at this. All right, so panache. You have that natural dashing behavior. This may not really be Elsa's cup of tea. It would definitely be Adele's.
But yeah.
Unorthodox tactics.
Yeah. Stinging words.
Stinging words. Slippery as a snake. Highly mobile. Basically, you're constantly moving around, skipping here, jumping there, sliding to and fro. God, it's like I wrote that as a poetry. By the means of this, you gain an additional move action as part of your normal set of actions. And you cannot take. So basically, you can move. Oh wow! So I know Serby's on. So Serby, think about this. You have an extra move action in which you can double, triple, or quadruple your movement. So you could go 8 times your normal movement in one 15-second round. You're like going for you. That'd be like 80 feet. Mutely.
For me,
But-
it would be like
But for like other characters, like say plot doctors, Saboteur, that would be 100, almost 200 feet in 15 seconds.
this is where my character jumps on someone's back and
Right.
says, "See ya, let's go."
See, let's go. Right there, I feel you. Yeah, we have a lot of juicy stuff that you want a little bit of this. You want to, take some from all of column A, some from column B, and something from C.
You could just spend hours with just the ability book part of the book.
Well, then yeah.
Oh my gosh, you would have min maxes would be being driven insane.
And you know what the fun part about this is? Legends of Kralis doesn't care about your min maxing. All I have, it doesn't care.
Mhm.
Doesn't care. But yeah, are you kidding? My good friend and co-designer who helps me really focus things. He is one of those individuals that highly super focuses his characters
Mhm.
to where it's just he is very efficient with what he does. You know what I'm saying? He's not a min maxer, but he creates characters that are just phenomenal. You don't want to min max and let you can min max all you want. You can't. I can't say you can't because I don't know if anybody's ever really truly tried to min max.
And then I found jury rig, which I know it sounds silly, but
Oh
quickly
wait,
slap together spare parts and make a makeshift materials and
right.
stuff.
Oh, and there's also the
But
What
even
was
just things like Lucky Devil, I love those like kind of things. Like
and there's the Jack of all trades. Page 155, bottom of the corner.
yeah, you know what? As cool as my like flying brain mouse is, I am going to go Jack of all trades because that is very much.
Okay, but
Yeah.
read through it first and make sure that's what you want to do. It's not a bad thing. It allows you to use any skills, any untrained skills with a bonus 15 to that
They're
skill.
all the G skills.
They're
So
all the G skills, all the general skills.
are healing, smithing, info gathering. Oh no! So for me, it'd be swimming, survival, navigation. Which I need navigation, but that's another time. Read lips, writing, search. So that would be you instead of the base 30 plus 15.
It would be a base of 30 plus 15, so it would be 45 plus the attribute modifier.
Cool.
And at first rank, it's a huge bonus, right? Because now you've got
But
these
it
extra
loses
skills,
power.
but it loses power as you gain in rank.
It does. Well, see, I discovered something that was. Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. Iron Will. I like that one a lot. +5 modifier to both your will and your wits.
But read the additional.
And additionally, I can have another focus skill of those.
So your pilot suddenly is your pilot a focus skill? I don't think it is.
No, and it's got G next to it, which I
So that means you can take that and make that skill a focus skill for you, for your character. Becomes
so that would add another 10.
that would add another 10 to it. So yeah, it would be 78.
78. So that would be I can fly this plane No problem.
Need this airship, void ship, whatever. Really awesome. If you need to.
Yeah, I think that's probably the. Yep.
Yep.
And because of the modifier as well, the willpower and wits modifier I like.
Okay. Are you sure?
So that. Stop it!
Stop doing
Yes.
that. All right. Awesome.
So pilot is now 78.
78. And
So when at the +5 modifier to both my willpower and my wit scores, that adds +5 to the.
yeah, so, +5 to your base score. So on your character sheet, just
My
change your
willpower is now-
willpower is now 90, and your stamina is 70.
No, it's wits.
Wits, is it wits?
Wits is now 81.
Yeah, wits. So now your wits is now 81.
Cool. And I would adjust any wits and will skills that were here, but
Yeah. They look like
there's a
they all
few, but
go. They all go by +1. It's like
yeah. So concentration would be 58. And it auto fills in the other things that need to fix. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. You could make so many fun characters. Like, and this is what I mean when I'm talking about why I don't mind crunchy stuff and why I like more lore and I like skills detail, because you can really like create a character and then I like your abilities because it does allow this massive swerve.
the only
Yes,
thing.
drunk
Yeah.
Serby, I am second guessing everything because this is what I do. I come up with a really strong character concept, but then you add all like these little. It's almost like DLC of these little things you can add to them, and they become someone else who's
So-
really cool.
Interestingly, Serby actually created a character with me, and we because of all the discussions that we had, we went for almost 4 hours because he got into what you're doing. Like, God, I can do that. Okay, what if I do this? What if I that? Oh, I can do that too. The
I like
only
creation because I find that quite often, and it's funny because when you're talking about standard D&D, I really like game mastering low level games. I really enjoy it. There's super high levels of risk, and I just find when people create characters and they're talking to me about characters in D&D, they're often like creating a character for who the character is going to be at like level 8 or level 14.
whatever. Right.
And they're level 2. While here I'm just obsessed with what level 1 is going to look like. Like there's so much like tailoring and stuff and that you can do at level 1. Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying myself.
Awesome.
I'm enjoying myself.
That's what I want to hear is you're enjoying yourself. That's awesome. But yeah, and here's the thing is as your character gets more and more powerful, so at second rank, when you rank up, the only thing you have to worry about at second rank and all ranks beyond that is if you want to take a rank bonus that gives you additional skills if you want to, is choosing another ability, or if you're at the right rank to be able to choose another tier for that rank for that, and it just keeps going up, right? Yeah. So Serby actually made a shadow magic rogue ninja-like creature, and he is a Balian. He's a ferret folk
Yay, I like them. They're
and
cool.
stuff. So he it was pretty awesome. All right, so the only thing that we didn't choose for you, and because you're going really with this this engineering kind of concept, which I love, is we didn't get you a weapon, and we didn't give you weapon craft. Weapon craft is what you need to use to be able to use a weapon, but you can use it untrained. It won't be as good, but you can still use it. So let's determine your wealth. Let's see how wealthy at first rank Elsa is.
What page are we on, sir?
161.
If you'll turn to page 161 of the
Player's guide. You will find
Player's Guide.
character wealth.
Oakley dokley.
All right. So the way we do starting money is going to be based off your background plus the blessing of the gods. So you chose bounty hunter. So
Bounty hunter.
You're going to start off with a base of 525 silver pieces, which on the second page of the character sheet is a space for your silver pieces.
525.
Now, let's see how well the gods treated you, shall we? Roll a D100. Roll as low as you can.
All right. Come on, money. Oh, that's not great. 53.
So 53 gives you an additional 550 silver pieces.
So 1,075.
Yep.
I believe that my previous good rolls
Have run out.
have come back to haunt me. Yes.
Oh. All right. Yeah, it's kind of middle. He's right. Serby's kind of right. It's kind of the middle of the road. All right. So, you can wear any type of armor that you can want to afford and that you physically can. That makes sense, right? Like you've got to be able to physically be able to strength-wise to be able to hold.
Okay.
Right.
So
your maximum strength is 52, so you can't wear anything heavier than ring armor. Now, that doesn't mean you can't at some point get some technological items or magical items that can help you do that, but you're stuck there.
okay. So is there any advantage for going lighter armors, or is it all just
So
Armor.
lighter armors are always going to be better because if you go with a heavy armor, it does impose a physical defense modifier to your physical defense. But lighter armors, no. And what it does is what you're concerned about is armor absorption because remember I think at the beginning I said we do things based off of base damage time, success times base damage. So let's say that you've got a weapon skill or someone hits you and they've got 5 successes and you roll your defense and you've got no successes because the dice have really turned against you. You're going to take 5 successes of damage of whatever that base damage is. Most weapons start at about 5 points, so you're going to take 25 points of damage. Your armor absorbs some of that. So if you were to wear hardened leather, your armor would absorb 9 of that, and instead of taking 25, you would take 16.
So I guess ring armor is the go.
Right. And here's the cool thing: it doesn't cost as much because you're a smaller creature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It doesn't cost as much because they don't need as much scale to actually do what they need to do for you.
Fabulous. I enjoy that.
So it weighs. So yeah. So the cost and the weights are half for small and double for large. Additionally, the cost of armor are 3/4 for small and double for large creatures. So basically, the weights are not as heavy as they are, right? So you could actually, so Brigadine would be half. Yeah, it would be half. So the strength minimum would be for 30. So not until you get to bandit armor do you start to have issues because it's built for your size. So Serby, what she's creating is she's creating a counterpart companion to the TikTok character I built for her, Adele, which is a Leonis? No, I went Tigris Jakara, void pirate or air pirate. And so she decided she wanted to create the companion of that, and so she went with a Manix. and she's going very hardcore MacGyver with it. She's only 2'4", but she's the uber nerd who's got a lot of intelligence and is willing to get into the side of somebody's engine and wreck it from inside if she has to. But yeah, that's where she's going. Yeah. If you can see on the stream while she's looking at that, this is her character sheet. So yeah, so the weight, the strength restrictions are halved for you, and the cost is only 3/4 of the total of what it normally would be.
Advantage for being small. I am a fan of this.
Yes. But and the advantage of being big is you got more health points and you're able to absorb more.
Yeah. 100%. Shh,
Yeah.
let's not speak of these things.
Shh, we're small folk around here.
Yes. Because I will slip into the darkness and you cannot see me. It's interesting because I don't really want a physical defense modifier of a negative.
Yeah, most people don't.
Especially with her because it's not very high. So I think the highest of the light armor has a star against it.
So that's
What's
Larkev
that?
armor, and that is a very extremely rare armor, and it's 2,000 silver pieces.
Oh yes, I can't afford. No,
Nope.
no, I can't afford.
You can't afford it.
So I'll just go with the ring armor.
So that's going to cost you 225 silver pieces. So on your character sheet, on the front sheet where all the important information is, so you can quickly find it, you're going to put ring armor in the armor type.
Mm-hmm.
Your armor absorption, I believe, is, did I say 11? Yes, it's 11.
11.
And that's the end of that. Boom.
And how much was it again?
225 silver, so that takes you to 850. All right, so we've got your armor. Okay. Now, what kind of weapon do you see Elsa wielding? Is she going to be a perception fighter or an agility fighter? So we obviously know she's not very strong. Even though Serby, she can bench press 260 pounds. She's not very strong.
I'm not strong. Not strong at all. So. So perception would be like arrows and thrown stuff?
Well, yeah, so it would be bows, crossbows, pistols, rifles, laser, energy blasters, energy rifles, anything that would be perception based.
So I mean, it's the question of affordability, but I kind of see her as like, kind of like crossbow / pistol kind of thing. I mean, really, if it was like, I do kind of see her falling more on the grenade and explosive weapons kind of.
Well, so throwing a grenade would be perception.
I guess she'd be a perception fighter then. And like, yeah, I guess a close equivalent to pistols or whatever.
Well, here's the fun part about this. So
guns.
let's take a look. You've got what do you got? You've got 850 silver. All right, and your basic cost for certain things aren't going to cost as much as someone else because you're small, so you don't take up as much. So on page 170, so the weapons themselves have this huge table. It's not as bad as it is. So a regular pistol, 4 shots costs 500 silver pieces. However, on page. Yeah, nope. Sorry, I was thinking maybe we could get you an energy blaster, but the best you're going to get is going to be a pistol. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Thank you. So,
It's okay.
what do you think?
One day, she will have an energy blaster. That will happen, even if she has to make it herself. But yeah, I think pistol.
Pistol? All right. All right, so the pistols themselves are going to cost, and this is where we'll go here. We'll go to page 168 because this we're going to get all the relative information for your combat stuff. So it's going to cost you 500 silver pieces. So that takes you down to 350. Not bad. Now, I'm going to throw another one of those curves at you because I love to do that. I love doing that. You know how that is. So do you want a great quality? Or well, no, yeah. So unfortunately, unfortunately you couldn't. I'm looking at the price increase. So there's good quality and great quality pistols, and they go up by plus 500 and plus 750 silver pieces. That doesn't mean that at some point you can't attempt with your craft technological at some point to do that, make it better.
Make it better.
Make
yeah,
it better,
so
make it
yeah, I could
faster.
see her modding her stuff
Yeah, absolutely.
in the future.
Absolutely. All right. So again, like I said, so we're on page 168.
Mm-hmm.
And down there, you're going to take pistol. But, and here's the thing. How much are pistols again?
500?
500. Yeah, okay. That's all right. I was going to say you could have two of them. But
okay.
But
She'll develop. We'll
she'll
develop.
Right. So pistols, you're gonna in your attack, you're gonna put pistols there, or pistol, and then down on weapon crafting, inside your skills, you're gonna on the first one there in the first small box put perception, just PER,
PER,
and then pistol. And you're going to be using it untrained, so it's going to be 30 plus your perception modifier, so it's 36.
36.
Your attack skill is 36. Your base damage, if you actually hit somebody, you're going to hurt them. But it's a base of 5. That doesn't seem like a lot, right? Your damage bonus, unfortunately, because you don't have the ability called Surgical Strike, which adds your perception bonus to it, it's going to be plus 0. Your strike range is based off of the range of the weapon. Your critical range for this weapon, though, so normal crits are ot 1 through ot 5 for most weapons. And looks like, okay, this is the reason why we did that. So it doesn't improve its critical range. So it's an ot 1 through ot 5. Yeah, ot 1 through ot 5. Here's the cool part about this. If you look down on the line, it says A15. Right?
Yes.
It ignores 15 points of armor absorption of whoever you're hitting.
Ooh.
So, for reference,
that hurts a lot.
Oh yeah, so
that goes through a lot of armor.
So, in reference, someone for them to be able to stop that armor, they would have to have at least mail armor, which is very uncommon for them to be able to stop the bullet. So what happens is the armor absorbs, so it ignores everybody else's armor for all intents and purposes, right? But if they have a higher armor, let's say they have an armor of 20, you ignore 15 of it, but they still get 5 points of that armor absorption, which reduces your total damage just by 5, and things like that. So just for reference, just so you have an idea.
Cool.
And that is, I believe, all the things that you need to worry about for that weapon. Now, do you want a dagger, a little short sword?
I think a little dagger, little stabby stab.
Okay, so you have your choice between a dagger or what's called a ravad. A ravad is essentially a smaller sword. It's equivalent to a short sword for all intents and purposes. It's 125 silver pieces, and the dagger is 20 silver pieces. Now, both of them give you a bonus to your defense if you're using them. So the ravad gives you a bonus of 15 to your physical defense, and the dagger will give you a bonus of 10. Yes, Serby, I believe that your character, her, Adele, and Elsa would work very well together. You guys would be definitely pirates. That would be an interesting fun.
I think the Ravad would be an interesting.
Okay. So, so on your next one.
Yes, I can.
So Ravad is an agility-based weapon. So in the attacks, go ahead and put Ravad, R-H-O-V-A-D. And then down, it's stole, not stole. What you're going to do is in the agility for the weapon craft, the next one below it, you're going to put agility there. But that, you're going to just put swords.
Just swords.
Swords. Just swords. So all swords that you pick up that are agility-based weapons have a base of 35 for you to use. It only does 3 points of base damage. But this one will, well, if you had a strength bonus, it would use your strength bonus, but technically you don't have a strength, so it's 0.
That's okay.
Your strike range doesn't improve, but your critical range is now Ot 1 through Ot 10. And that's going to be very important when I explain how combat works. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to copy the crunchiness over there, which is the A5, B5, D15, and put that in the special notes. So what you're doing there is with that weapon, it ignores 5 points of damage, it causes 5 points of bleeding per turn, and while you're using it, your physical defense goes from 41 to 56.
Cool.
Cool?
Very cool. How much does a grenade cost?
Okay, a grenade. It's gonna be a little pricey. It's gonna be about 850 silver pieces.
Okay, we'll develop that.
That's something you can build, right? I mean, you could actually, if you take the skill alchemy, you could actually build your own grenades. Yeah, that's fun.
Put it on the bucket list.
Put it on the bucket list. But yeah, you can. And what's really interesting about them, they have so grenades ignore 20 points of armor, but they only do a total of 24 points. There is no how much. They just do a 24 points of damage. That's good. 24 points of damage.
Bang.
Even if you get one success, it's still 24 points damage because it's not you. It's just you throwing it at the person to hopefully get over there. Right? Yep. And that's that. So we're just in the crunchy part now of getting your awesome weapons and stuff like that. So do you want any more weapons or are you good?
No, I think that's good for her. I don't think she really needs a lot more. She's never really going to be the person with a shield and a javelin.
Yeah, I see her being someone behind Adele, taking shots at somebody as she needs to, and then trying to mess with them some other way. So the adventuring gear starts on page 182.
182.
Now, I am an old. Have I ever shown this to you? I love showing this off because I don't know if many people have seen this. This is how long I have been playing. Not to say that I'm a grog nerd, but I'm a grog nerd.
There's no shame in that. Take pride.
Check that out on the Twitch. That is this old white box of Dungeons and Dragons.
Ah, the old
Old white box. The white box that you needed chainmail to be able to even play the game. So I've been playing for a long time. And because of that, I have a strong love for lists of equipment. So here you go, right? You can either do this adventuring gear or go to the end and buy a pack on page 189. And there is a Void Runners pack. It's 1,000 silver pieces,
Ooh.
though. But it's 1,000 silver pieces.
I just want to look at it.
Okay,
Because
okay.
it's like Void Runners pack.
You can buy a Void suit individually, and those cost 600 silver pieces.
That is amazing. I want all of that stuff, but I cannot afford that.
There's the Burglars pack, if you want to do
Look,
that.
to be honest, I really do think that this is the kind of this particular character I could spend hours just trying to figure out with the money that I've got what she's got at the moment. And the reason I say that is like it's the kind of character with the skill sets that environmentally and different things within the game, you could really try and MacGyver a lot of cool stuff and like pull out stuff and be like, can I try and do this with this? It's very cool. But I think how much have I got left?
350.
225.
225? Is it 225? Oh, that's right. It's just 225.
225. So at the moment, all I could afford is a standard pack. And I think it's hard though, because given what she does, but I think I will go with that for now.
With that standard pack.
Yeah.
So again, what you can do is you can just grab all of that, take it to your character sheet, go to the third page, and paste it in.
I think if a game was organized, I would sit with the list and be like, right, I will buy this random thing for 3 silver pieces, and this random thing for 3 silver.
And
pieces.
that piece of string that I'm going to need for.
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. Like I said, I love lists when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love being able to have that granularity of being able to choose things if I so wish. And that's technically Elsa. You're done.
Amazing. Thank you so much. This
No,
was so
thank
much
you.
fun.
It took us 2 hours and 43 minutes to do it, but I think we had a lot of fun, and you were an absolute dear, and I loved the way you struggled with some of those decisions. That was just amazing.
It was fun, man. Like it's very challenging to like. I mean, I say challenging, but I say challenging in a good way. I think if you want to really enjoy character creation and doing something that is really individual, that it's not just the way you inhabit the character as a role player, which I love doing, but also how you build the character and who they are and what they can be. And when you have a system that allows you to really use that and let you have those moments with those skills, it can make some really amazing games. And that's why you get really super passionate about like building certain things and doing certain things with the character and getting excited about that, because you can like, when you've got the experience at it, you see those moments, and you see those moments where you're like, you've got to make that like pilot save to stop something from crashing into something else,
Yep,
or
absolutely.
that that cryptography save that to figure out this really important piece of data that if you hadn't have taken that and picked something else, or sometimes the nose of like when there was something you thought you were going to do with the character but didn't, and then you get to that moment in the game and then your character can't do it and you're like,
Ugh! Right. No, I feel you. I feel that on that. So I want to show one last thing to you. Now, did I say that she was Adele? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Did I say Adele was a voider, or was she a airship captain? I think she was void. Let me pull into the depths of the TikTok here.
The depths of the TikToks. But I can see, like, if you're someone like, it's funny, if we talk in D&D terms, or in general TP, I generally do enjoy playing very social characters. I enjoy playing political characters and getting into that kind of nitty gritty. I'm not necessarily a giant spellcaster kind of person. Even though I am playing a Artificer as one of my mains at the moment, which has been so much fun. But again, Artificer feels like I'm just using technology. But I can see in these abilities how a person who loves playing martial classes would really enjoy this. Like the abilities and the choices and the advantage and all the different things you can do as a martial class. Oh, so many really cool special things that you would just have like an absolute ball creating. You could create so many. I think isn't that the standard cry of like fighters are too basic? Here you could make so many different styles
Well, and what's
in so many
interesting
different
is like
ways.
even like with humans, right? I know that D&D has the human variant, but humans, in Legends of Kralis, they start off. So there's four subcultures that are part of that, but they start off with so much more. I mean, just so think about the fact that you've got as Elsa started off with certain abilities. Humans start off with certain abilities that are kind of innate with them, right? And they get to do all kinds of things, and it just allows you to really focus things. And here, we have currently in our bi-weekly Saturday game, we have two archers in this game. They're almost identical builds, almost. One is a power hitter with her bow. The other one is a quick shot. So he gets off like 5 or 6 shots and maybe does 35, 40 points of damage. My wife, who's the power bower, can hit somebody and do 100 points of damage with one shot. She is I will hit you from 500 to 600 yards out. You'll never see it coming, and I will kill you. Kind of concept. So yeah, there's so much that you can do. Yeah. So I found Adele.
Sorry, I just lost audio for a moment.
No worries. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Did you hear what I said about our bowers?
Yes, I heard
Okay.
the power bowers of like two different bow guy people who are similar but then have their specialities. Yeah. Nope, lost you again.
Now, I'm not talking, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm taking just a second. Yeah, I don't think that I really mentioned where she is, so you guys can be void pirates.
How's
I think.
that?
Let me double check. I think.
On a
Pirates.
completely random thing, I found this team fighting like ability. I think that's very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. Um, and again, like I said, there's so many abilities in here that you can do different things with. Yeah, absolutely. I think she's definitely she could be a sea pirate, an air pirate, or a void pirate. The way I built her.
Fantastic.
So the last thing, so since Adele is your character, um, she and I'm saying this to a lot of people. So all the people that are actually play testing with me, that are like in the Saturday games and the Plot Doctor game, and then all their characters are actually going to be written up as NPCs with stats for the World of Kralis NPCs.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna because you're doing this with me, both Elsa and Adele are gonna get their write-ups together,
Oh,
and
amazing.
I will have
Thank you.
art. I will have art actually specifically made for each of them, from one
That
of
would be
my
so cool.
artists, and they'll be part of the Legends of Kralis World Guide. So
That would be amazing with just like with Elsa just sitting on her shoulder. Like,
right. Oh yeah, that we could do
let's
that.
do it.
There we go. So the last thing I want to show you is this, which I think you might get into it. You might not. This might not be your thing. So on page 214,
214.
214,
Ah!
these are the various ships that exist, right? So these are void vehicles that we're looking at here. That whole
Sorry, I just made that random squeeze sound as soon as the page opened. Yeah, no, totally into it.
brilliant. No, Kirby, not Kirby, not you. You don't. Your character's not. No, of course you're gonna be in there. I'm gonna have that in there. Um, so these are the void ships, and then if you go to page 217, these are the airships.
I like all of them. Amazing.
And the last one on page 220, yes, you can. No one's done it yet. They're very expensive, but yes, you can build a tank, a land-based vehicle like that.
It would be the most amazing thing that like this tank terrorized someone, and then that a person goes to get in it, but no human or large or any medium or large creature can get in it because Elsa built it specifically just for her, and the cockpit is like
Itty bitty,
just makes size.
just itty bitty, right?
Just
But yeah,
makes
you can do
size.
that. And one of the more popular vehicles that people like to buy are the Samvajuls. They are literally levitation bikes that I don't know. Did you ever play the game Destiny?
Yes.
Those are those. That's them. That's the best acclamation I can say. They're those bikes that your character travels on.
Man, I'm still just blown away by those void ships. They're so cool.
And what's
That's
even
amazing.
and so here, if you are really into like the crafting of stuff, starting on page 198, you can build your own craft if you have the money.
You know what I love kind of about that idea? Because if I kind of get this idea right of like Adela's gonna live much longer than Elsa's gonna live, and if I have like even this concept of a family tree of her descendants all hanging out with Adele, like kind of this family loyalty thing associated with this captain, and maybe Elsa's like if you think of like ideal character build, that Elsa's like grand life build was helping to build a ship specifically for Adele and her family moving on. I think that would be really cool.
That would be very cool. So, you know how you're worried about the life expectancy of Elsa?
Hmm.
In Alchemia, when you get to the point of Paragon, which is about 15th rank, you can attempt to create a water of immortality.
Amazing.
And when you do, you remain at your current age forever. Like you still can die, but you won't age anymore.
That would be amazing also.
So
But I
there's
kind
that.
of also like, I really enjoy lifespans and different
Right.
lifespans in character creation. Um, like I enjoy this concept of, say, for example, in a home game that I'm playing of D&D, my character is 100 years old,
Wow.
but she's an elf and she's still basically only just an adult.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay.
Hanging out with like people who are in their humans who are 40, who are like, and this elf who's literally a child, or these. these like mouse creatures that only live for 15 years. She probably would try it.
Oh, she probably would. She'd probably want to, like, I love my life so much. I'm going to try to, become immortal. Why not?
And if it's one of those kinds of immortality where, you're immortal, but you don't have to live forever. Like, you're still at risk. It kind of gives you that.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying. You stop aging, but doesn't mean that you're, like, immune to death. I could still kill you. A dragon could still sweep by and bite you and take you, and you could get jabbed in the heart.
Yeah, because I think if you're thinking about these two, like these void pirates, she would be very much into the whole, like, the risk of life. Like, if there was no risk, it wouldn't be any fun.
Right.
But, yeah.
There can only be one.
More time to become a better engineer.
Or, you know what? Take over a planet.
Yes. give her people finally technically an actual home that's actually theirs.
There's actually theirs.
Maybe.
Well, I am beyond humbled and grateful that you have spent the last 3 hours with me. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna try to catch it. I've got my own game tomorrow and play with the out of print GM. I think it's going to be an amazing group to see all of you guys like that. I think that's going to be such a fun game. With the holo operator, Seek How Explosion. Is it Leave Me Alone or
Leave Me Alone? Yeah,
Eva
Alone. From Germany. She's fantastic, and I was very lucky to play like a test game of it, with me and the plot doctor and another person. And so the plot doctor and I's characters have a backstory before we even get there, which is great.
Yeah, there you go.
So they're the odd couple of like the hedonistic huckster, hexblade swinger, and the drunken priest.
Right
so they're like, the chick who deals with the devils hanging out with like the those like old school priest cowboy movies where it's like he's like the guy who's like shuffling through the desert and angry about life. And just is still a man of God, and then next to him is this like chick who's like sees a woman walk by and is like, "Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Right? Just,
how you doing?
What are you doing?"
Yeah,
brilliant. I love it.
While he's drunk the whole time, it's great. It's gonna be
so Serby, tomorrow, I'm going to be if he's able to do it. I know the out of print GM is. I've helped him develop that so he can try to put that together. He's going to Twitch it tomorrow, and I'm going to host him on my channel. And that way you can find him that way and follow him. He's a British bloke. He and the out of print, he and the plot doctor are British. And here's the funny thing: you've got an Australian, a German, 2 Brits, and 3 Americans. 8 people in 6 different time zones playing a game. I don't know how you and Miss Mootley, I'm gonna let her go here real quickly because she's got to get to bed so she can get up at 4 a.m. to play. You're an amazing person, and I am glad to call you a legendaire.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on. And this was so much fun. I had a smile on my face the whole time. It's been nothing but joy. I really appreciate it.
And if I can find somebody to play on a Friday night, one shot, we'll bring these 2 in. We'll rank up Elsa to rank 5, and we will do a one shot space voidish horror game.
Amazing. Oh yes, bring out the horror. Love it.
Yeah, we will. All right, I will let you go again. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay safe, and
thank you, sir.
Keep doing what you're doing. All right.
See you later.
Stay legendary.